Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Stephanie and this is the 2019 Bookish Academy Awards nominations for Best Short Film. As I have stated, Best Short Film equates to novellas and short stories that I have read within the year of 2019, and that also means that these books also have less than 150 pages for each one of them. So I ended up picking 11 of them because some months I didn't actually read any novellas, but I did try to sort of stick with the ones that I really enjoyed the most, and a lot of these ended up getting 5 stars or 4 stars, something like that, within my rating system. But I think they're short stories that a lot of people will enjoy. We'll be able to get a little something from each one of them. So let's just get into them so I don't make this video super long. The first one I'm nominating is Roping the Cowboy by Kennedy Fox. This takes us back to the B&B ranch that we have been introduced to through the Kennedy Fox books, and it was such a fun sort of story to follow. There's sexiness, there's witty banter, and it's just fun. It was just really good, and I suggest you guys check it out. The next one I'm going to talk about is Grading Curves by Naima Simone. And in this story, you have an older female who decides to be daring and do something different before she starts her new job on her new journey. So she ends up going to get a tattoo. Well, the tattoo artist happens to be a very hot and sexy gentleman. And he ends up giving her a little more than just a little tattoo. But there is some secrecy or some things that neither one of them sort of revealed about themselves, and that is that the woman, our older character, is a professor and our male character is a older student, in which goes the class and in walks student and finds out, haha, we got a hot for teacher situation going on here. And I was totally here for it. It was sexy, it was sweet, it was fun, it was fast, and just yes. So many yeses. The next book I'm going to talk about is American Squire by Sierra Simone. Now this is a spin-off end of series novella that deals with 2 characters that we have already met. It actually brings in 2 different series together. You have the New Camelot series and you have Lesson in Thorns series that I believe one character from each of those series are brought into this story, and it's very interesting. It is very steamy. It is male, and I was here for it. I love the New Camelot series as a whole. I love this character from the New Camelot series. He was the president's sort of right-hand man, butler, assistant type person, and I loved that he ended up getting his own story. The next book that I'm going to talk about and is nominated is Wynter's Captive by Millie Tyndall. I just recently read this one. It is a paranormal shifter romance that is considered a novella, even though it seemed, as I was listening to it as an audiobook on the podcast of Read Me Romance, it seemed like it was so much longer, but it actually wasn't. But in this story, you have a woman that ends up getting kidnapped by a sort of rival pack, and she, unbeknownst to herself, finds out that she really is an alpha of sort. And there is mating and things of that nature. It was so much goodness. I loved the bodyguard within this story, and it just gave so many different feels. I was so here for it. The next story I'm going to talk about, or next novella I'm going to talk about, is Wedding Date Crasher by Alexa Riley. In this story, we have a woman that loves some wedding cake, because there's nothing like a wedding cake. There really isn't. You can try at home, but bakers put like something within professionally made cakes that make it taste so much different. And in this story, you have 2 ladies, 2 friends that end up crashing a wedding. Well, they kind of get caught and end up hooking up with the best man and a cousin, I believe it was. That was the second book in this sort of pairing. But this book, funny, so funny, and so super sexy, and wedding cake, so many yeses, yes, yes, yes. The next book I'm talking about, or that is nominated, is Mixologist, and that is by Mila Hart. And in this story, we have a woman that has to put on this persona that she is a businesswoman at all times. However, when she goes out to her bar for her weekly drink, there's a bartender that has, sort of caught his eye. How would I say that? Anyways, they find attraction to each other. Well, she leaves her phone down, and he ends up sort of getting into her phone and inserting himself into sort of her app situation. They have like a Snapchat thing going on, and they start a conversation through that. But he doesn't tell her who he actually is until later on within the story. It was fun. It was quick. It was sexy. So very sexy. And I was here for it. So go check it out. The next nomination goes to I'm Yours, Baby by Fiona Davenport. And in this you have a story in which there is a one-night stand between two characters, and then one goes on deployment or on a spy mission, something like that. But when he comes back, he's like, yo, I thought we had a little bit more than what was going on. Well, she felt that he was ghosting her because he obviously didn't get the messages, and blew her off. So she ended up getting pregnant, and when he comes back, he's like, no, you carrying my kid? Yeah, we gonna do this together. It is alpha male, and it is sexy. It's very much a quick read, and I was so here for it. The next novella I'm going to talk about is The Headmaster by Tiffany Reisz. And in this, we have a very, very special sub-genre mixing story that is just so many different layers of things. I mean, it's gothic, it's mysterious, it's sexy, has some erotic tones to it. It has a mystery. I think I just said that. But in this story, you have a woman that is looking for a new start. She ends up going to this school out in the hills, and she ends up getting into an accident. And the headmaster of the school ends up saving her and helping her recover and things like that. But there is so much stuff that goes on with it. I don't want to say anything else. It has such a creep factor. I read this in October, and it was just perfect for the season and for the time frame. And I was just completely drawn in and blown away by the story. The next story I'm going to talk about is Picture Perfect by Evangeline Anderson. And in this story, in this novella, you have two people in which there is a bit of a connection. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, this is a stepbrother, stepsister sort of story in which they did not grow up together. So don't go getting your panties in a bunch. They didn't go growing up together. One ends up getting a contract for a photo shoot, and the other is like, nah, protective, and is like, nope, you need to go and do this photo shoot, not a problem, I'm coming with you. But the photo shoot actually involves a little bit more than what was initially thought was supposed to happen, and they ended up partnering together, and feelings are revealed, and it was super sexy. It was so sexy. So good. So good. The next nomination goes to Between Us and Forever by Dylan Allen. And in this story, you are first meeting a couple that is now getting its own trilogy. And when I read this story, I was completely blown away by this novella. I absolutely loved it, and I wanted more. I begged Dylan Allen for, one book. I was like, hey, can I just get the backstory in one book? No. Did she just give me one book? No. She's given us 3 books for their story, and 2 of them are already out. She's working on the 3rd one. I can't wait to find out the conclusion of all the things that these 2 characters had to go through, but this novella starts you off and, gives you this path that you're just chomping at the bit to know what was going on with these 2 characters and how they came to this novella. And the final novella that I'm going to nominate for these awards is Honeymoon, Hideaway by Cary Hart. And in this novella, it is super sweet. It is super sexy. It is so much fun. It is based in Las Vegas, and it revolves around a sort of wedding chapel / honeymoon suite place that you can get married and then go upstairs and spend your honeymoon. Well, there's a goat, and the goat is super funny. It's a smoking goat. So yeah, just really enjoyed this story. It was so much fun, so much banter. The lights end up going out in Vegas, and they have to figure out how they are going to survive all the things that are going on with the planned weddings that are coming up, with the honeymoon suites that are supposed to be taken in, and the 2 main characters end up getting locked in a room together. But they're very much sort of on this different scale of, I don't like you, I don't like the way you do things, and I think you're taking advantage of the fact that my grandmother died, and just so much stuff. So much fun and just sweet banter that was just absolutely amazing. So have you checked out any of those novellas that I have just talked about? Let me know down in the comment section what your thoughts on them were. If you haven't and you are trying to finish up your Goodreads goal for the year of 2019, these are definitely some novellas that I think will drag you in, give you just the right amount of, goodness throughout all of them, and prop your numbers up just a little bit faster. Many of these stories were featured on the Read Me Romance podcast, so make sure that you're checking those out. And I will look them up and put each of the episode series number down with the list as well. So if you do end up wanting to read them, you can go check out that specific episode or episodes for the podcast if it was featured there. Yeah, so as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.